السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد. All right, day 6 review session. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody took the proper time necessary to memorize the Allama family. And I hope everybody is ready with their questions. Walaikum assalam, walaikum assalam, walaikum assalam. Am I a Sunni scholar? I am not a scholar by any means. Hmm. How many families are there? Well, I don't want to intimidate anybody, so I'm not going to answer that question. Just know that we're going to take our time and we're going to go through all of them and we're going to memorize all of them, and then you're going to become Sarf experts, and then you're going to become Arabic experts, inshallah. Oh, actually, let me update. Is this still correct? Yeah, this is correct. Okay, for those of you asking where to find the study materials, pay attention. Um, so log into the dream.bayyinahTV.com website right here, dream.bayyinahTV.com. Go to study materials, and then you need to go to intensive 3. It should be under day 1, intensive 3, day 1. We have the Sarf workbook, days 1 through 5, and the Sarf workbook, days 1 through 5 key. This is what you want to use for this is your workbook, right? This is where everybody this is what you guys are all asking about. For those of you who are saying you can't find it, this is right where it is. Intensive 3, day 1. All right. How to memorize whenever I memorize past and present, and then I go to passive. I forget the earlier ones. Well, it really just comes down to repetition. Um, if you increase the number of times you're repeating, then really it's going to become hard to forget. Like, for example, Surah Fatiha, right? You're never going to forget Surah Fatiha. No matter how many other things you memorize, you will not forget Surah Fatiha. It's because of how often and how many times you've read it. So if you make this a daily thing and you set, a decently high count of repetitions, like every day, I'm not sure how many you're doing it yet. You might have to do more if you're already doing this much. But if, like, let's say every day you you read the entire family throughout the day 50 times, every single day, then it might take a little bit of time, but you'll definitely get to the point where you won't have to really think about it anymore, and you won't forget it again either. You just have to find that number for yourself, and it's going to take some hard work, right? It's definitely not going to be easy. Can we go through some examples of the Allama family? We can certainly go through some examples of the Allama family. Um, I don't know if I should write all of them down because that's going to be a lot of writing. I'll write one of them down. I mean, okay, Mishi, I say 50, but that's just a number I threw out. For some people, it might be 10. For some people, it might be 15. For some people, it might be 200. You don't really know. Um, it depends on the person, you know? Okay, you need to have a subscription, yes, Mariam. You need to have a subscription for the for the workbook and the study materials. Okay, so oh, I don't like that. Okay, for those of you confused about this is not yu'allamu. There's a different way of writing. There are different scripts in Arabic, and this is one way of writing kasra. If you see that the line is under the shadda, then that's still a kasra, even though it's on top of the lam. If the line is under the shadda, that's still a kasra. If it's over the shadda, then that would be a fatha. So this is still a kasra, yu'allimu. I'll just write it out, make it easier for everybody. Okay, here we go. This is our allama family. Allama yu'allimu ta'liman fahuwa mu'allimun. علم يعلم تعليما فهو معلم الأمر منه علم والنهي عنه لا تعلم والظرف منه معلم. I know some people have questions about how to identify the root from the family, and while we're not gonna totally go into that, like that's something that will come as we go through sarf. One thing I can mention so far is that whichever three letters, and so far our roots will always be three letters. Okay, you don't have to worry about four or five or whatever. The root will be three letters. So in this case, it's ain lam mim. The way you identify it is you look for the three letters that are repeating in every single word of the family. Okay, so in aslama, even though you can tell that the hamza in the first word aslama is not a part of the root, because when we go to the next word yuslimu, the hamza is gone, but the seen, the lam, and the meme stay. In this case, ain, lam, and meme, we see them everywhere. Allama, yu'allimu. The ya is part of the pot here. It's not a part of the root. Ta'liman. So that means that the ta and the ya are part of the pot here. They're not a part of the root. Ain, lam, and meme again. Ain, lam, and meme. Mu'allamun. Meme is part of the pot. Um, the second line is very similar to the first. The la and the ta are part of the pot here. La tu'allim, and mu'allamun, just like mu'allamun and mu'allimun earlier. So that's one way you can kind of start getting used to recognizing the root. Look for the three letters that are present in every form. I'm not going to rewrite the entire family for all of the different words, but I'll go over two. So another root that we'll go over, we'll do farraqa, and we'll also do another root that's recently popular. Let's just do sallama because we're already doing aslama. So same root. Okay, these are the two roots we'll do. Excuse me, allergies. All right, bismillah. So again, I'm not going to write them down. I'm just going to read through them. Hopefully, you guys can see how the root replacing work goes. So we're get the fa is equivalent to the ain, the ra is equivalent to the lam, the qaf is equivalent to the mim between farraqa and allama. So anywhere the ain is in allama, that's where I'm putting a fa. Anywhere the lam is in allama, that's where I'm putting the ra. And anywhere the qaf is in allama, that's where I'm putting, or sorry, anywhere the mim is in allama, that's where I'm putting the qaf. So it would be farraqa yufarriqu تفريقا فهو مفرق فرق يفرق تفريقا فهو مفرق الأمر منه فرق والنهي عنه لا تفرق والظرف منه مفرق. Likewise, for sallama, anywhere the ain is, I'm going to replace it with the sin. Anywhere the lam is, I don't have to do anything because the second letter is a lam in sallama too. And then anywhere the mim is, actually, I don't. The only letter I have to replace is the ain because the next two letters are the same. So sallama would be really easy. Allama becomes sallama. Yu'allimu yusallimu. Ta'liman tasliman. فهو مسلم. Sorry, that's my mistake. فهو مسلم. سلم يسلم تسليما فهو مسلم. سلم يسلم تسليما فهو مسلم. الأمر منه سلم والنهي عنه لا تسلم والظرف منه مسلم. So I hope that everybody was able to follow along. Let me know if we need to do some more. What's wrong about the passive? Sorry, you are right. That's a typo. Hopefully I said it right, even though I wrote it wrong. Don't worry about meanings. You're going to confuse yourself if you worry about meanings. Just go with it right now. Memorize the families. Yes, I believe your name is Hana, if I remember from the email correctly. But it was a typo, Ulima. I think I was saying it right, but I just put a Dhamma instead. Um, the fa'il maf'ul will always be the same with the time in the it's not the fa'il maf'ul, it's called the ism maf'ul. Make sure you get your vocabulary correct. It's the ism maf'ul. Will it always be the same as the verb? Um, not always, but it's very common for it to be yes. It's very common for the ism maf'ul and the verb to look the same, but it won't always be the same. How can you differentiate? Context. That's how. Ustad, are we going to get the Sorf workbook? I've already put the Sorf workbook on the website. So please go to study materials, go to day 1 of intensive 3, and download the Sorf workbook. Second exercise, I'm not going to go over anything from the second exercise because we will go over it in class, I believe. You had homework on the second exercise. So I'm going to leave that for Ustad Nouman to go over, inshallah. If we don't go over the whole thing in class, then I will take those tomorrow. I'll take questions for that tomorrow, inshallah. We're going to go over the quiz today. So, Mahnoor, if you have questions again after that, I'll take those later. Okay, I'm gonna change the font because that's confusing people. Hopefully that's better. Did I see your question, Sadaf? I did not see your question, but I can try to find it. Give me a second. What makes a family? The root does not make the family. I can take any family and I can plug in any root. The root is not a part of the family. So don't get that mixed up. Because the root for this one that's on the page now, allama is ayn lam mim. I can take allama and I can put it into any family. I can take allama and I can put it into this family, allama. I can put it into aslama and get a'lama. I can put it into istaghfara and for example, I'll get ista'lama. I can put it into um, اقترب and I can get اعتلم. I mean, it won't be used like that all the time. Like for example, every root will not always go into every family, but I'm saying these different roots or did I'm putting this root into different families just to show you that it's like the root doesn't have anything to do with the family. The families are just patterns that you can plug a root into. What makes a family is the pots, right? The different pots. And each family will have something that will help you identify. There's something unique about each family. So in Aslama, the thing that was unique was in the past tense, we had the Hamza. And then in the present tense, we had, you know, U and then EU. That was what's unique about the Aslama family. And also in the command form, it has the Hamza as well. So in this one, Allama, what's unique is the Shadda. And then the Mastar obviously will be unique for each one as well. How can you differentiate between dharf and ism maf'ul? Context. You're right. That's another mistake on my part. وَالنَّهْيُ. Mishi, instead of telling me I'm making you confused, can you tell me what exactly you're confused about? How families are they? I think the families are probably okay, but you might have to ask them yourself. Can I write the harakat on the last sentence? The words that I didn't put harakat on are the words that aren't exactly part of the family and they're just helpers. So I'm going to leave those unharakatized so that that's clear. Because I don't want people to start thinking that that's a part of the word. So, okay, LB, in the present, can you explain the letter Hamza and the beginning letter U and the ending letter Mu in the present tense? So the letter Hamza, that's a part of the previous family, Aslama. Um, that's not going to be a thing we have to worry about in the Allama family. In the present tense, this is a general rule for present tense, and it doesn't matter which family you're looking at, okay? The general rule for present tense, no matter what family you're in, is that the first letter, it can take a dhamma or a fatha, it can be u or ad, and that will be dependent on the family. So far, both families that we've learned have u at the beginning in the present tense, okay? Yuslimu, yu'allimu. It's you both times. That's going to be dependent on the family. But the first letter will tell you is the person basically, right? So if it's a ya at the beginning, you know it's third person. If it's a ta at the beginning, it could be third person or it could be second person. And if it's a hamza or a noon at the beginning, it'll be first person. And then the ending will tell you the number. If it's just u at the end, then it's going to be singular. Unless it's nu'allimu, then it'll be plural because it's nu, we. Um, if it's ani, it'll be dual. And if it's una or just na, it'll be plural. So that's how you look at the present tense. You have to look at the beginning and the ending to get the proper understanding of who's saying it and how many people are saying it, or not saying, sorry, who's doing it and how many people are doing it. The previous font was confusing people, so I changed it. That's why I changed it. Shadda is the key for the second family. Shadda is a key. It's the most defining key, but it's not the only one. You have to keep in mind all of the different pots in each form as well. The second line is passive present and passive past. The second line is passive, yes. So the first word is passive past tense. The second word is passive present tense. The masdar is the same for both. And then the last word is ism maf'ool. Today, it doesn't look like we have a quiz. We're just going over yesterday's quiz. Mina, I went over where to find the quiz at the, or sorry, I went over where to find the workbook at the beginning of the class. Just rewind the video to the beginning and find it there. It should be under intensive 3 day 1. No, Sadaf, actually, maybe you are correct. But I want to clear up something. Um, you can we do these conjugations with other pronouns? I'm not sure what you mean by other pronouns. Can you clarify what you mean by that? You can put in any root and you can conjugate all of the different forms. Oh, okay. I think I understand your question. You're saying if we take the word yu'allimu or ullima, for example, can we conjugate it all the way out like we did for nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat? Yes, you can. That's why we learned that first, because that's going to stay the same no matter what family you're in. The endings, the changing of the endings will be the same no matter what family you're in. So when we learned aslama, I could say aslama, aslama, aslamu, aslamat, aslamata, aslamna, aslamta, aslamtuma, aslamtum, aslamti, aslamtuma, aslamtunna, aslamtu, aslamna, and I can do the same thing for allama. Even though this is a different family, the endings will the way that endings change will be the same. Allama, allama, allamu, allamat, allamata, allamna, allamta, allamtuma, allamtum, allamti, allamtuma, allamtunna, علمت and علمنا, and the same thing for the present tenses. They'll change the same way as well. Not the same way as the past tense, but they have their own the present tense changes. What yeah? The masdar, uh, okay, that's a little bit confusing. The masdar is the same for the passive and the active because the masdar doesn't really take an active or a passive form. Passive and active really only apply to fi'l. That's why we didn't say mu'allamun was a passive word. Mu'allamun, even though it's in the passive line, it's not a passive word. It's a done to word, right? It's what's receiving the action. Ullima and yu'allamu are passive. Ta'aliman and mu'allamun aren't passive. but they kind of fit the meanings of passive. Don't confuse yourself with that right now. Just kind of go with what you're getting. You guys aren't as active with the questions today. The PDF for both families, I believe Ustad said he was going to make one. So um, that will be coming, inshallah. What happened to Ustad Jawad? What happened to me? I'm right here. Yes, the passive and active rule. How we go from active to passive. The u a and then the ue for past and the ua rule for present. That's the same for all families. Why kal farashi is not jar majroor? Kal farashi is jar majroor. Zuleikha, your understanding of ism maf'ul right there is a little bit incorrect. Um, I'm not sure I want to open that can of worms yet, though. You have a mistake in how you're thinking about ism maf'ul, but I don't want to confuse you. So for right now, just follow along, inshallah. You already know, Sadaf, you already know how to conjugate it for all the pronouns. You already know that. You need to learn the families because you already know how to put it into all the different pronouns. I can give you any fi'l madhi, past tense fi'l. I can give you any past tense fi'l from any family, even the ones you haven't learned yet, and you should still already be able to put them to conjugate all the pronouns. For example, if I give you um, the family, it's a family we haven't learned yet. It's in fa'ala. That's the past tense. In fa'ala. You should be able to take that and give me all of the forms. In fa'ala, in fa'ala, in fa'alu, in fa'alat, in fa'alata, in fa'alna, in fa'alta, in fa'altuma, in fa'altum, in fa'alti, in fa'altuma, in fa'altunna, in fa'altu, in fa'alna. That's something that you should already be able to do. You don't have to worry about memorizing that because once you memorize it for Nasara, you got it for all of them. All of the past tenses, you got it. I'm not reviewing any specific title, Liana. I am just taking questions. Sure, I can do that, Odina. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. Um, علم زيد. So علم, the active form علم means to teach. علم means he taught. He taught. If I put it in the passive form, علم, now it means he was taught. He was taught. Who's teaching him? We don't know, but we know that he's being taught. So he was taught. If I add a rafa' word after that, then now I have the possibility for an outside done to. And in this case, this fits. Now, instead of translating this as he taught, I'm going to translate this as Zaid, or sorry, instead of translating this as he was taught, I'm going to translate this as Zaid was taught. Zaid was taught. Let's do a Quran example. Uh, قل للذين Okay, it's an ayah in Surah Ali Imran. I think it's the second page for those of you who want to look it up. Maybe, if I had to guess, like ayah 11. It's ayah 12. Ayah 12. قل للذين كفروا ستغلبون وتحشرون إلى جهنم وبئس المهاد وبئس المهاد. So this, uh, a lot of the stuff still you guys won't be able to recognize. You don't know قل yet. You might know what it means, but you don't know grammatically what it is yet. Sarfically, you don't know what it is yet. You should know للذين. This is harf jar and an ism. كفروا. This is something you should know. This is a past tense. كفر, كفرا, كفروا. It means um, kafara means to disbelieve. So kafaru means they disbelieved. So qul, say lilladina, to the ones who disbelieved, to the ones who they disbelieved, satughlabuna. So this is a passive word. Um, satughlabuna means you will be defeated. The scene puts it into future tense, and then the word itself means to overcome. So when you put it into passive, it means you will be overcome or you will be defeated. وَتُحْشَرُونَ. This one means, uh, originally it means to gather. When you put it into passive, it means to be gathered. To be gathered. Say to the ones who disbelieve, you will be defeated. Actually, defeated isn't the greatest word. Overwhelmed and gathered to Jahannam. Ila Jahannam, to Jahannam. Ila Jahannam, you should know this one as well. This is harf jar and it's ism. And the reason why Jahannama is, it looks like it's nasab, is because Jahannam is a partly flexible word. Jahannam is a partly flexible word. So we can't say Jahannami. It's going to be Jahannama. So even though it's Jahannama, we know it's jar because of ila. And wabi's al-mihad is like, how horrible of a place that is. But the part I wanted to focus on was right here. سَتُغْلَبُونَ وَتُحْشَرُونَ. You will be overwhelmed and gathered. These are passive words. So I just want to give an example of passive from the Quran. 100 families. Don't scare anybody like that. Hafsa, somebody might quit the class if you say 100 families. كالفراش المبثوث, can it be إضافة? No, it can't be. كالفراشي is حرف jar. You can't have an إضافة with a حرف. So for the second word, الفراش المبثوث, الفراش starts with alif lam. Mudaf cannot start with alif lam. So you can't have it for either of the pairs of words. The purpose of light and lightest we haven't discussed yet. Just understand light and lightest, and we'll discuss the purpose of it uh, when we need to. Satughlabuna is passive, present, yes. Watuhsharuna also passive, present. Actually, even though it's present tense, we talked about how present tense can be used to talk about the future. So in this case, because it's talking about, the day of judgment, it's future. The present tense form can also be used for future. So you're correct to say it's present, but in translation, you would use future. Why do you memorize harf of jar without harakat? Because the harakat can change. I remember when we talked about the harf jar lam, for example, with pronouns we say la, but with other isms we say li, right? So the harakat can change. That's why. You're correct, conformity. We have not gone over the fourth reason yet. No, um, Jahannam is partly flexible. The word Jahannam. How do you learn when there's no written material available? Well, you guys, I know you guys, a lot of you guys are complaining about not having notes, but it's going to sound a little bit harsh. You guys are capable of taking your own notes. You shouldn't always rely. We're going to provide notes at some point, but it's good to take your own notes as well. Writing something down is the best way to memorize it. Okay, um, and I'm sure everybody here has has the capabilities to write things down. So if you're having trouble following along without notes, then please, by all means, take your own notes too. Don't just wait for us to provide notes. Muhammad Adil, where do I use wow and ta harf of job? Whenever you want to take an oath, I guess. The harf jar ta can only be used with the word Allah though. Harf jar wow, you'll see it used with other things as well. Washamsi wa duhaha. But ta is only used with the word Allah. Unfortunately, I cannot write Arabic fast enough. Um, I mean, there was a point where you couldn't write English fast enough too, right? The more you do it, the faster you're gonna get. It's all. That's all. That's what everything is. That's what learning is. The more you do it, the better you get at it. When I started writing Arabic, when I was actually learning, when I was doing Dream, I started Dream not knowing the first thing about how to write Arabic, and I learned how to write Arabic because all of our homework assignments had to be written in Arabic, and if I didn't learn how to write Arabic, I wouldn't be able to do my homework. So and nobody at Dream like taught me how to write in Arabic. I just did it. I just started doing it, and then they would point out mistakes, and then that's how I learned. I did it out of necessity, basically. How do you learn how to type in Arabic? Any good resources? Well, you're going to need to study the keyboard a little bit. For me, when I started typing in Arabic, um, I set up my computer so that You can actually, what I did was I bought stickers off of Amazon. You can buy Arabic keyboard stickers and you can put the stickers on top of your keyboard keys. So you'll have them just like how you have like the letters on your keyboard when you look at them. You'll have the Arabic letters there too. So I bought these stickers and I put them on my keyboard so I would know where the letters are. And then I just started typing. I would practice. There's a pretty good website. If I can remember, it's like Fast Fingers or something. Let me see if I can find it just by googling Arabic typing. There you go. 10 fast fingers. So this it'll give you just like Arabic stuff to type if it loads. Well, if this doesn't work, then maybe something else will. Okay, looks like this website's out of commission. If we can find something else, that's not great. Okay, I'm not gonna look for it on stream, but I'm sure you could find something pretty easily. That's all I did. I just Googled Arabic typing practice, and then I just found a website. You don't have to worry about writing Arabic when you're Pakistani. I guess. I mean, there's some differences, but I guess. All right, we're nearing 10:30. I'll take, I don't know, like two more questions. Hussein, can we continue on social media? That's not my decision, unfortunately. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Dagger Aleph is not available on the keyboard, unfortunately. It's a something I learned the hard way after a lot of looking for it. The way Ustad does it, he uses Microsoft Word. I'm not using Word here. I'm using Google Docs. So I still haven't figured out how to do it. But Ustad has a shortcut in Microsoft Word specifically for Dagger Aleph. So Ustad's a couple levels above me. I'm only like level 10. Ustad's like level 37. Maheen, if you're just beginning, then start with Intensive 1, Day 1. It's available on YouTube. Yeah, CC, he showed his Word shortcut. It's not actually on the keyboard. Is it possible to have the Aslama family and the Allama family in PDF format? That will come, inshallah. For homework, you were supposed to do only. Do I have it open? No, I don't have it open. You were supposed to do only the second exercise, the second box. This one. I didn't say conjugate into the Huma version. I said conjugate into the Hua version because for every form that you're given, remember when we went over present tense, We went over all the pronouns, right? Huwa yansuru, huma yansurani, hum yansuruna, hiya tansuru, huma tansurani, hunna yansurna, and so on. So all of the forms I'm giving you is from that chart. So if you know that chart well, it doesn't matter which form I give you, you should be able to take it back to the Huwa version. Junaid, how am I answering questions? If I do skip questions sometimes, but usually the questions I skip are like tech related because I can't answer those, or they're off topic, or there's something I've answered already. So if it's content related and it's not something I've answered 10 times, and I focus on the ones that I think will be beneficial for everybody, then those are the ones that I lean towards. I pick first. The quizzes, yesterday's quiz and the day before, both of those quizzes should be available. Yes. I'm not sure if it was updated for yesterday. Let me check. Day four, no, day five hasn't been uploaded yet, so that will happen. We'll get that done, inshallah. But um, it will be up with day five. The past tense of yu'minu, I was gonna save it for class. I'm gonna save it for class. Ustad will come when Ustad comes. That's when Ustad will come. I don't know where Ustad is. I'm in a different state, so I'm not. I can't. I don't really know where he is at all times. Okay, we're gonna be ending in another minute, inshallah. How am I? Alhamdulillah, I am doing well. How are you, Shazia? Don't scroll down. Zuhra, the most recent videos are at the top. Whoops, where am I? Previous sessions. Intensive 3 is at the top. Intensive 1 is at the bottom. Intensive 2 is in the middle. It's going up. The most recent stuff is at the top. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. Um, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the session. Ustad should be coming soon. Hopefully, maybe, probably. So, jazakumullah khairan for all of you for attending. Hopefully, these review sessions are, beneficial. Try to come ready with questions. Um, Make sure you write down whenever you have a question that was unanswered from the day or from previous days. Make sure you write down your questions and come with them ready, inshallah. Because this 45 minutes to an hour, whatever time we have, this is just for me to answer your questions. So please do come with your questions ready. It will make the process a lot smoother. I won't have to spend as much time just reading and trying to find questions if your questions are, coming in. So subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.